Welcome back to the Communication Mastery Podcast with me, Mark Burlinson. This is where we unleash the power of understanding to build bridges and not boxes. That's because we understand that the communication is the soil in which good, strong teamwork grows and bears good fruit. So we want you to be effective, and we want you to gain communication mastery. And this week, I want to look at some do's and don'ts around the whole area of technology, because our communication is full of technology these days. There's texts and emails and social media and DMs and just so many different ways of connecting with people using technology that we have to take advantage of the benefits, but we also have to be aware of the pitfalls and the misuses of technology. So let's look first of all at some of the benefits that technology has brought to us. And obviously the companies that sell us this technology really want to highlight these benefits of how many people you can contact and how you have unlimited minutes and unlimited messages and unlimited bandwidth and all of that. And let's be true, technology does make it much easier to stay in touch with colleagues, regardless of location. Just think about video conferencing, for example. I do a lot of my work on video conference, whether with individuals or with teams. And that makes it so easy. You know, I've had clients in California and I'm on the East Coast in South Carolina. You just adjust for the time difference and you can make a good connection with people. So there is a great deal of ease of connectivity that the technology affords us. That's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because, we'll get to that later. Second thing that technology gives us is an increased efficiency. Because emails and messaging apps and particularly collaboration tools really increase our efficiency, don't they? So, you know, work teams can share documents, so they can brainstorm on whiteboards, virtual whiteboards. They can manage projects in real time, whether it's through apps like Slack or Microsoft Teams. Or whether it's simply by being able to message one another on some kind of company bulletin board. So the increased efficiency that technology affords is to be welcomed, but we also need to recognize that there are some pitfalls there too. And then a third area that is beneficial with technology is that it's accessibility for diverse needs. There's assistive technologies like speech to text, for example. That's very big these days, isn't it? Particularly with the AI revolution. There's a great deal of speech to text, whether it's me speaking and the device making it into something typed, or even with screen readers, where those who are not able to read as easily or have a difficulty reading can hear it read to them by the device. That makes communication possible for people with disabilities, but it also increases efficiency for the rest of us as well. Everybody saves time with some of those tools that can increase the accessibility. And then the fourth area where technology has really made a difference is in scalability. You can reach the whole world now just by posting something on TikTok or Instagram. It can go viral, can't it? And so there's a great deal of ability to communicate with larger audiences. Even things like Zoom webinars or YouTube, you can reach thousands, if not more, people with one message simply by videoing it or broadcasting it across the internet in that kind of way. So there's a scalability. Even podcasts, the number of people that will listen to this, you don't all have to be in the room while I'm speaking. You can listen to this in your own time. That increases scalability as well. So all of those are benefits: the ease of access, the increased efficiency, the benefits of accessibility, as well as the scalability. All of those are great things that we wouldn't have if it wasn't for the technology. So now let's turn the tables and talk about some of the pitfalls and misuse of technology, the traps that we need to be aware of so that we don't fall into them. And the first one is the lack of non-verbal cues, because communication is so much more than just the words we're saying. The tone of voice, the facial expressions, the body language, all of those things are hard to read even with video technology. And it's increasing the potential for misunderstanding, especially with the words-only technology like emails, texts, messaging apps. Even when you put in emojis, it's very easy for emoji to be misunderstood. So I think misunderstandings are increasing, and that's part of why there can be such divisiveness in our culture today, is that people take at face value what they see written, and they can't hear the tone of voice it was written in. And so I might type something that makes absolute sense to me and is completely offensive to you with the same words. So the lack of nonverbal cues is a huge thing to be aware of. And also, there's an over-dependence challenge, I suppose we should call it. It's certainly a pitfall with technology, where instead of having real relationships, deep, meaningful relationships face-to-face, by being in the same room and working things out together, it's reduced to a kind of ping-pong match of texts or direct messages. And that reduced face-to-face interaction is a huge pitfall of the technology. Texting can replace in-person communication, and we're the poorer for it, because that reduces our authenticity. Your authenticity comes from interacting with the whole of who you are, not just the words you put in a text or a message. The third pitfall is the pitfall of distraction, or even time mismanagement. We all know how many notifications we get on our devices of the texts and the messages, and we think we're multitasking when actually very few people can even begin to multitask. What it is that you're being multi-distracted, not multitasking. So it fragments our attention. That's why our attention spans are decreasing so much in the 21st century. And that leads to poor listening skills. Active listening is a dying art for many people today. And it also dilutes communication quality. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were checking their phone constantly. And so it's very hard to connect with someone when their eye contact keeps going from eye to eye like this to down here, and eye to eye and down here. And that hinders true communication. So we want to be very careful not to allow distractions to steal communication from us in the name of efficiency. And then there's digital miscommunication. This is an enhanced form of what I've already talked about, I suppose, but messages usually on technology are brief. They lack tone, and that can cause conflict or it can cause confusion. And one of the things I always say to my clients is you should never resolve a miscommunication or a difference of opinion or a problem by email or text. If there's a problem, you need to at least achieve a voice-to-voice connection, if not face-to-face, because your chances of misunderstanding and therefore miscommunicating and therefore breaking relationship are much higher when it's text only. So digital miscommunication is a huge pitfall in today's world. There can also be privacy and security concerns with technology. It seems like there's not a week goes by without some kind of hack of information somewhere in the world. And online communication can expose sensitive information. There can be surveillance or misuse of that information. Screenshots get shared even from Snapchat and things that disappear. And everything you say on social media basically lives forever. And so we have many cases today, don't we, of people who are famous or are being offered important positions where something they said years ago in a setting that wasn't necessarily relevant to what they're doing now gets taken maybe out of context and used against them, or maybe taken in context and used against them. So that sense of privacy and security, you need to assume it's completely lacking when there's technology involved. And then the final pitfall with technology is the lack of emotional depth, because the whole thing is geared towards a quick response, just rapid fire, shoot back an emoji, shoot back a response, reply to text right away, don't leave your email inbox full, get back to people, hit send before you proofread, all of those kinds of things. And those surface level exchanges lift us to the surface of every issue rather than going deep. It can be very difficult for some communication styles that we only live on the surface like that. There are a number of different communication styles that thrive on going deep and having strong connection, and the technology can really be an enemy of that. It encourages division. It's the sort of thing that leads to cancel culture and disagreements in all kinds of ways. And that reduced emotional depth, I think, weakens our society if we allow it to take root. So beware of the pitfalls of digital technology, but also remember the benefits, because it's definitely here to stay, and we need to leverage the benefits for the benefit of all of us, just like we're doing now with this podcast, while also recognizing that although technology enhances communication by bridging distance and increasing accessibility, it also can definitely hinder communication by moving it to a surface level, leading to misunderstandings, reducing emotional connections, and so on. So if we can balance the digital tools with in-person interaction and use both, I find the best texts and emails are with people I know well face-to-face and I interact with personally in real life as well as online. And that's the key to fostering strong relationships. It's the key to mastering communication in the digital space. So I hope that's helpful to you. I'd love to hear your feedback. What other problems have you seen with digital communication? What other questions do you have? What other suggestions do you have that would help us all to succeed in the 21st century marketplace of digital and in-person communication? Send me feedback on my website at markberlinson.com. And why don't you invite a friend or three to subscribe to the podcast? I tell you what else would help me, and that would be if you could just go to your podcast app right now before you close it and just write a quick review for me of this podcast. It helps others to find it, and it also gives me helpful feedback. So thank you for the feedback, and I'll see you back here again next week.